Good afternoon. Welcome to the Committee on Government Operations. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Kniezek. Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Killeen.
Present.
Chair Scott.
Present.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next.
B, approval of the January 29, 2020 meeting minutes.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Coleman and supported by Commissioner Killeen. Is that his name?
More or less. More or less.
All right. Thank you. Any corrections or anything? Hearing none, then roll call has been granted. Next item.
No, we have to take
Voice
the
vote.
We have to take the voice vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we did. Yeah, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion been approved. Next item, please.
C, unfinished business. There is none.
Next item.
Item D1 under new business, requesting commission approval of the 2020 revised county plan monumentation and remonumentation plan for Wayne County, Michigan to be submitted to the State of Michigan Department of Licensing and Regulatory Affairs.
Thank you. Barbara, did you want to speak on this? This is the remonumentation, and it goes through the Register of Deeds office. So Barbara is here. Thank you.
Barbara Johnson, Chief Deputy Register of Deeds.
Amy Miller Vandewalker, Plat Engineer and County Survey Representative.
Okay. You want to tell us what this is about?
Yes, in 1993, the state of Michigan enacted an act where each county gets a grant to remonument original government corners that all property descriptions begin from. And in 1993, our original plan was put into place. In 2014, there was some amendments to the act, and as part of that, each county in the state has to do a revised county plan. So our county plan is due to the state by March 1st. The revised county plan needed a detailed list of corners, which we provided, and some clarification to how we were going to do maintenance of our corners. Because once we reset or revisit all of our corners, then we go into a maintenance phase where we just make sure we maintain them.
So is there any charge for this?
No.
No. All right. Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Killeen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, you're going to have to catch me up a little bit on this because you're talking kind of inside baseball here. Let's start with the basics. Monumentation and remonumentation. What is that?
Okay, monumentation.
Define terms, I guess. We'll start there.
Okay, monumentation is what they set at each corner. We go out, make sure something's physically
See,
set
now
there.
that's another thing. You started
And
talking
it's-
about cutting corners, and I'm like, what corners? What are those? I'm taking this as something to
Okay.
do with an actual surveyor.
Yes. Back in the 1800s, the government surveyed Michigan into
Yeah, the townships.
townships and the
Right,
sections. So there was corners set every half a mile.
I got you.
So we're going out and remonumenting those.
And the state wants us to do what with our new plan?
We needed to update our plan. When we did the original plan, we did projections as to far as how many corners were in each township. Like, it wasn't physically listed. We have a lot of private claims, corners, not sectionalized. We have a lot of sectionalized land in the county as well, but we have over 700 private claims. So we needed to list all of the corners that wanted included in our plan.
So as technology improves, we get more accurate with setting up the grid? Is that the idea?
No, the idea is to maintain those physical corner locations, so when a surveyor goes out there, they can easily
go right
find
to it.
these government corners And it hopefully
okay.
saves taxpayers money when they have their properties surveyed.
So you have to mark the corners.
Correct. We set what we call monuments, and they're half-inch
gotcha.
iron rebar.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with the
okay.
US Geological Survey that they set medallions
Yes,
all over the country to give them a baseline read.
correct.
Are all of our corners marked then?
Not yet. We have 766 corners that we need to
And your new
remonument.
plan will take care of that?
Yes.
And how much is it gonna cost us to do that?
We get a grant from the state.
Grant, the state pays for it.
Yes, but the grant is based on fees that the Register of Deeds collect. We collect $4 on documents, and that $4 fee goes to the state of Michigan, then they give it back to us as a grant.
Right.
Okay,
The
well.
state gets $3.96 and we get 4 cents.
Proper plating, or whatever you wanna call it, central government service, so I'm glad thank you very much for the explanation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And this is for all counties to do, is that
Correct.
correct?
All counties, yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? Did I see another hand? No? All right, then. Is there support?
support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman, supported by Commissioner Ray Basham. All right. Any other? Having none, we'll call the roll. All those in favor, say aye. Okay. Any opposes? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Next item, please.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of the collective bargaining agreement with the International Union of Operating Engineers.
Thank you all so much for coming over today. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for being here, and good to see you again, sir.
Thank you very much. Good to
Yes,
be here.
indeed.
Joe Martinico, Labor Relations Director. I'd like to introduce Jeff McCarthy, who is the Chief Spokesperson and Secretary for the International Union of Operating Engineers.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Steve Malin, Director of Personnel Human Resources.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Okay, you want to tell us about the collective bargaining agreement?
Yes, we're seeking your approval of a collective bargaining agreement covering 12 Wayne County employees who are members of the International Union of Operating Engineers. It's a 3-year agreement from period October 1, 2019 through September 30th, 2022.
Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Yes. These are the employees who are responsible for the operation and maintenance of the refrigeration and cooling equipment in county buildings.
Okay.
Yes, the union has ratified this agreement.
Okay. And that's the 2.5% raise?
It's 2.5% effective upon your approval, and another 2.5% effective April 1 of 2021, and a $1,000 retention bonus payable within 90 days of the approval of your agreement, of your approval,
Is
the commission's approval.
is that for all 12 of them?
The $1,000 is for all employees who had a minimum of 1 year of completed service as of January 1.
And that's 10 out of the
I
12?
think it's 10 out of the 12.
Yes. All right. Any questions? Hearing, it's been moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman. Need a support? Support by Ray Basham. All in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
Is there a question?
No, I was gonna wait for questions
Okay.
before I knew whether I was yea or nay.
All right.
Is somebody from the operating engineers in the room with us?
That would be me.
That would be you. What was the vote on this?
We use an electoral college process. It's
Hey,
1
all
to
right.
nothing.
Huh?
1-0 in favor.
1-0. Will the $1,000, that's a retention stipend, that's not gonna go into base wages?
Negative.
You're correct. It does
Correct.
not go into base wages.
And why the heck in a union agreement do we have an opt-out for paying union dues? Why do we have that?
Because that's the law.
State law. I mean, yeah.
It's just
State
added
law.
in, all collective bargaining agreements from our friends in Lansing now have to include that?
Yes, sir.
How about that? And is the, because the note is in here that you couldn't be retroactive back to 2019, is that what the $1,000 retention is about?
No, you may recall, or perhaps you may not, that we've negotiated a number of agreements now post consent agreement. And the first contract post consent agreement has contained a $1,000 retention bonus for the people. The purpose is to recognize the people who have been county employees through the difficult period, to give them a $1,000 bonus, recognizes their retention during that period.
Well, I'm glad we're making some effort because all of our employees have been, and of course, I'd like to see it into base salaries rather than one-time things that can come and go. Madam Chair, I didn't get the name of the gentleman from the operating engineers.
I'm Jeff McCarthy. I'm the recording corresponding secretary for the operators here in Michigan.
Good Polish name, nice to meet you.
On my mom's side.
The Jeff. All right, I think those are my questions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any others? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposes? Hearing none. Motion is carried. Next item, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. And before I go any further, thank you, Commissioner David Kniezek, for being here, former state rep, former senator. So we're glad to have you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of modification 1 to a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Pierce, Moreau and Associates.
Okay. You want to give your name and tell us a little bit about this item, please?
Matthew Dubay, Deputy CFO.
Aaron Wagner, Procurement Director.
Loretta Roundtree, ERP Director.
Okay. This is an increase that we knew that was going to come. So you want to just to give us a little background on it, please?
Yes, Pierce, Moreau and Associates.
Now there's a better green light.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Thank you. Pierce, Monroe and Associates was engaged with the county to provide consulting services for the ERP program. The scope of services included business process documentation, as well as data cleansing for the new Oracle solution that would replace your legacy PeopleSoft and JD Edwards systems. You've heard a lot about this ERP system. And also for staff augmentation services to augment the staff, the Wayne County staff, who would then be working on the project to implement it. The initial budget that was derived for these services was split to include 3 suppliers to provide services, and the initial award for Pierce Monroe was half of that budgeted. They have performed to satisfaction of the county, and they have reached a point where the additional $2 million needs to be added for them to complete the scope of services that they are performing.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Thank you. So you said an additional $2 million
Yeah,
will be
there,
added?
yes, there was a $2 million award originally of the $4 million that was budgeted.
Oh, okay. So you want the release of the other 2 million?
Yes, this is funding only. The scope has not changed, nor has the duration of the project.
Okay. I'll move approval. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, no, we can move them and still talk.
Commissioner Kleen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You said the magic word, budget. This was budgeted to be somewhere around a $30 million, 3 to 4 year process. When I can stop praying that J.D. Edwards won't go down. Now, are we keeping a separate schedule of actual cost versus budget? So you have that schedule too?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I would request that whenever they bring, because there's going to be several items
Yes.
that are going to need to be approved over the next year or two, that they bring the, when they report anything having to do with this ERP, replacing J.D. Edwards, that we also see the budget and the actual to kind of keep track of where we're at. Because, you know, don't like surprises. I don't want to get to the end of this thing and find, oh, it cost us $7 million more than we thought. So I think since they have the budget ledger and they've got the ledger of the expenses against that budget, I would request that they submit that each time they submit a new contract so we can see where we're at in the process, what's still outstanding. I think that makes everything run a little better. So I would request that.
All right, you agree to
Absolutely.
that? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, Irma,
Move approval.
it's been moved by Commissioner Clark Coleman, supported by Commissioner Kleen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Hearing none, motion's carried.
Thank you.
Next item, please. Thank you for being here.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of modification 6 to a 7-year contract with two-year option to renew with Secure 24.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to talk about the service? All right.
Good morning, Carlos Perez, CIO.
Cheryl Reuter.
Dr. Roman?
All right. You want to give us some information on the service?
So this is a contract to keep our data centers active. So our data centers are the place where we house the main servers for our computing systems. This is what's actually housing J.D. Edwards and I don't really know how to explain more than that. Basically, that's basically it. If you want technology to run, this is the place where we store it in a secure way to keep it safe, to keep things running, to keep a clean environment, and hopefully J.D. Edwards doesn't crash.
These servers are up to 5 to 15 years?
We're always going to have some kind of a environment to house our data systems, right? So in this case, yes. Were you going to say something, Hector? Okay. We're always going to need some kind of a data center, whether it's a data center on-prem, like a physical data center like we have now, or if we're going to have it in the cloud, which would be an off-site data center that you've been hearing a lot about.
Okay. Are there any questions? Commissioner Kleen? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Basham. I didn't see that.
It's my understanding that this will actually cost us a couple bucks more until we get the cloud established, and then actually our costs will go down. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Thank you.
When will it start going down?
So we can't get rid of our second data center until we migrate fully to the new ERP. So that's at least 2 years away.
About 2 years, okay. Thank you. Commissioner Kleen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm trying to follow the bouncing ball here. I thought this was a 7-year agreement with Secure 24 when we originally did it. And now I'm looking in the paperwork and it's talking about approval of a 5-year amendment with 2 5-year options to renew. I'm going to have to sit here and try to figure out where we're at with a contract then. The contract was originally a 7-year contract. What year did it start?
2009.
2009. So we're well beyond the, but that had two-year
Renewals.
renewal
correct.
options.
Correct.
I
So
think
have we
something
taken
was-
both of the renewals then? We must have,
We have already, and the last one expires actually February 14th, 2020.
and we're not RFP in this. The contract's expired and we're just re-upping them?
It hasn't expired yet, but go ahead.
So that, you just, this is just the truth of it. I've migrated.
Ooh, I'll take that.
No, it is. It's just one of those things. I have to take the responsibility for not RFPing this. It is not in the county's best interest to RFP this.
Yeah, I can understand some of that. Do we have out clauses in these contracts? Because when the new ERP is up and running, because what you're proposing here is basically another 15 years, 5 years with 2 5-year options, if I'm reading that correctly?
Oh, yeah, Hector, he's asking if we can scale
Sure,
down.
we
Go
do
ahead.
have out clauses. In the contract itself, it's 5 years for our Plymouth location, which is
Right.
our primary data center, and 2 years for Southfield. So that 2-year aligns with the move to a hosted ERP solution. So once JD Edwards and PeopleSoft is moved to the new ERP, then we can decommission Southfield.
Well, that's what I was getting at, following up on Commissioner Basham's question. Are we going to be stuck with, contractually with excess space for a data center when, things move into the cloud? So are these contracts structured in such as our needs for an actual physical building decrease, we can get out of these contracts? What kind of out do we have?
There is language in the contract, so I'm pretty sure it's yearly. We can talk to them as far as what our square footage needs are. With technology, things moving to the cloud or things getting smaller, we do envision our footprint to get smaller over time.
Yeah, 'cause,
also worth mentioning-
discussions of, oh, we got all these square footage and we're only using a third of it, but we're still paying for it for the next 5 years. That can be a painful discussion to have.
It is worth mentioning that Secure 24 is very eager for us to get out of our Southfield location. So the moment we say we can get rid of it, they're on board.
All right, I won't ask any more about that. Thank you, Madam
All
Chair.
right, thank you. Anyone else?
Can I just, I'm not sure if things had been copied or pasted, but in here, it should be, it shouldn't include the 7-year with the 2 options. It's just the
No,
the 5-year.
I think I had remembered that. I hate when people come to the table and say, as you recall. I go, no, that was 4 years ago. We've had a few issues come before the
Right.
commission since. I don't remember a damn thing about that. But I thought it was a 7-year agreement. So I just wanted some clarification on that. Thank
Joe
you.
is going to give us some information
Oh, there we go.
on that.
Yeah.
Through the chair,
Joe
usually
knows.
with squibs is what we call in these paragraphs, we usually put, even with the modification, what the base contract term was. That's exactly what that is, the base contract.
Okay. Anyone else? We need a motion and support. So moved by Commissioner Basham, support Commissioner Killeen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Hearing none, motion carries. Next item, please.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of retroactive modification 2 to a 1-year cooperative agreement with OpenText.
Okay. So this contract is for the software that we use to manage our Wayne County website. So we're just seeking support renewal for that.
Is this to post the updates? Is that what this is for?
This is that interface that posts the updates, correct?
Okay. Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Why is a contract that expired in May of 2019, why is the commission receiving this contract request 9 months late?
The contract manager who is handling that isn't here today, but I know there was a lot of back and forth with the vendor and getting the FEP and getting the contract language straightened out.
Typically, it's very unusual for me not to have the contract owner here, and so that's on me. I will get a better answer and get it to you. I'll give you specifically why it took so long.
Well, probably vote, probably pass, but I'm going to be a no vote for retroactives, just to keep consistent. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Move approval, Madam Chair.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Killeen, supported by Commissioner Clark Coleman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposes? We have one opposed, 2 Okay. Commissioner Knizik and Commissioner Basham votes no. Thank you. Motion carries, though. Next item, please.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with a 2-year option to renew with Competitive Telephone Systems, DBA CTS Companies.
Okay.
Hi, Hector Roman again. This is a contract for managed services services to maintain our telephone and network infrastructure in the county and telephone support.
Is that from April 1st, 2020 to March 23?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any questions?
Yeah.
Commissioner Killeen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we didn't run this through the solicitations through, I'm sorry? I didn't ask yet. It was what? RFP process. Yeah, it wasn't a one that we ran through our my bid or whatever that computer system is, where it's cooperative bidding. Anyway, 349 solicitations, one answered? That doesn't make me feel good. Nobody wants this business. So what do we know about this company? How concerned are we that other companies weren't interested in bidding on this contract? I mean, when it's just one company out of 350 that respond, I'm like, okay.
So just before you
What's
get
wrong
going,
with this picture?
So you asked 2 questions. The one I'm going to answer is, how comfortable are we with CTS? CTS is our current vendor. They've been doing all of the wiring for us for the last couple of years. They're very trusted. We went to the RFP process
okay.
because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. So why do you think nobody else responded?
I don't have an answer
I
for that.
imagine there's companies that do this work.
Aaron Wagner, Procurement Director. Commissioner, this was posted on BidNet, so it was
Yeah,
a
that's what I was
public
thinking.
bidding. And, you know,
And in addition to that, we did direct solicitations,
we do courtesy notices that are direct solicitations.
and that's where the 349 number comes from?
It's a combination of both direct solicitations as well as when we pick a specific commodity code for these services, that's the number of solicitations or notices that BidNet pushes out to
I see.
companies that are registered.
I see.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Good luck. Hopefully it's good. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Any other questions? Need a motion and support?
Move approval.
Moved by Commissioner Killeen, supported by Commissioner Basham.
Thank you very much.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Hearing none. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of Amendment 5 to a professional services contract with Gawker Point Communications.
Yes.
There's the gentleman. This is Tim's contract.
Sounds a little familiar.
All right.
Through the chair, Felicia Johnson, Commission Counsel, representing the chairwoman. This is an amendment number 5 to Mr. Johnson's contract to extend it for an additional year to provide administrative services.
All right. We all know Tim. Is there any questions? Hearing none, I need a motion and support. This is for $87,000, 1 year.
Approval, Madam Chair.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Killeen. Can we have a support, please?
Reluctantly.
Commissioner Basham supports. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposes? Thank you, Tim. We know you'll be here for another year. Thank you. All right.
To the record, there is an out clause.
Oh, okay.
How many days? 30 days?
30 minutes.
Oh, thank you, Felicia. Okay, next item, please.
E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Well, haven't heard of any. Is there any come before this committee? Hearing none. Next item, please.
Public comments.
Anyone from the public wishes to speak? Hearing none, seeing none. Next item.
Adjournment.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. Thank you for